Time for a Devo tip. You know that it's wrong to hate anyone. But what if you are hated? Well, let's look at one of those Jesus statements that we don't like. Brother will deliver brother over to death, and the father his child. And children will rise against parents and have them put to death. And you will be hated by all for my name's sake, Jesus says. But the one who endures to the end will be saved. What kind of Devo tip is this? How can the gospel, which offers a message of hope and love and grace, be taken as an evil thing, and its message bearers as deserving heart-wrenching intimidation and betrayal? In Matthew 10, Jesus forces us to consider the reality of lostness, which is harder to accept when it comes to family and friends. But it even gets tougher when the lost persecutes. When you share the good news about Jesus, you're not likely to be called Beelzebul, which means the prince of demons, like Jesus was called. Being labeled narrow-minded or judgmental or backward isn't so bad these days, but if you're called an extremist or a radical or worse, like Beelzebub, how are you going to handle it? Well, let's look at Persecution 101 here in Matthew 10. First of all, persecution aims to silence you or bait you. But God, He wants to sanctify the words of your mouth. This is what Jesus says in verse 20. Do not be anxious how you're to speak or what you're to say, for it's not you who speak, but it's the Spirit of your Father speaking through you. Persecution often will create a straw man fallacy, which is it alters or exaggerates something to attack the extreme distortion, which is not you. But God, He wants to get pretty creative too by revealing Himself through you. In verse 25, Jesus says it's enough for the disciples to be like His teacher and the servant like his master. Persecution also intends to paralyze you, doesn't it? But God intends to deliver you from all your fears. Here's what Jesus says in verse 26 and 27. Have no fear of them, for nothing is covered that will not be revealed, or hidden that will not be made known. What I tell you in the dark, say in the light, and what you hear whispered, proclaim on the housetops. You know, I love Eugene Peterson's The Message in this particular passage. Listen how he describes Jesus' words. He says that Jesus says, when people realize it is the living God you are presenting and not some idol that makes them feel good, they're going to turn on you, even people in your own family. There is great irony here, proclaiming so much love, yet experience so much hate. But don't quit. Don't be intimidated. Eventually, everything's going to be out in the open, and everyone will know how things really are. So don't hesitate to go public now. Don't be bluffed into silence by the threats of bullies. There's nothing they can do to your soul, your core being. Save your fear for God, who holds your entire life, body, and soul in His hands.